In the swirling spectacle of 80s rock, few bands command the same evocative power as Heart, their ballads etched into the cultural fabric of the era. Yet what the public often recalls is only a sliver of the complex reality behind the stage lights. Heart's public persona is a carefully curated image, one that encapsulates the grace, power, and emotive depth that their music conveys. But as with any public figure or group, what lies beneath is a far more intricate web of motivations and pressures. This episode invites you to peer behind the curtain, to explore the psychological underpinnings that shaped Heart's journey through fame. At the core of Heart's image is a profound emotionality that seems to both protect and expose. This dual nature aligns closely with the characteristics of an Enneagram Type 4, the individualist. Fours are driven by a desire to find their identity, to express their unique voice in a world that often seems superficial. For Heart, the music was not just art, it was a declaration of self. Yet this pursuit of authenticity often masked a deeper fear, the fear of being misunderstood or, worse, irrelevant. In their public persona, Heart portrayed a confidence and charisma that belied the vulnerability that lay beneath. The industry ecosystem around Heart amplified these dynamics. The 80s music scene, with its relentless demand for hits and its unforgiving cycle of rise and fall, created a pressure cooker environment. Record labels, concert promoters, and the media machine all had their roles in shaping what was seen and heard from Heart. Success was not just about artistic merit, but about fitting into the mold that fame required. The pressure to maintain this image was immense, rewarding the facade while punishing any deviation from it. Within this environment, relationships played a crucial role. The bonds within Heart between Ann and Nancy Wilson were both supportive and fraught with the tension of differing visions and pressures. Allies and rivals emerged as they navigated these waters. The romantic image projected by their music added another layer of expectation, as audiences often conflated the personal with the professional. Within the band, roles were defined and redefined, sometimes leading to caretaking behaviors, other times to rebellion or isolation. This brings us to the heart of the matter, the dichotomy between Heart's public mask and their private pressures. On stage, there was a unity, an electric connection with the audience that seemed effortless. Yet backstage, the demands of maintaining such an image could weigh heavily. The public saw the glamour and the success, but not the sleepless nights spent agonizing over creative differences or the internal battles over direction and identity. The very gift that brought Heart fame, their ability to channel raw emotion into music, could also become a trap. The shadow side of this gift is the potential to become consumed by one's own emotional depths, losing sight of the external world. In Jungian terms, this is where the shadow self looms large, where unintegrated aspects of the psyche can lead to self-sabotage or stagnation. For Heart, the challenge was to harness this intensity without letting it overshadow their core purpose. As we explore these dynamics, we invite reflection. Have you ever felt the need to don a mask to meet the expectations of others? To become a role that feels at once empowering and imprisoning? This is a story not just of a band, but of the universal human condition. A story of striving for authenticity amidst external pressures, of the delicate balance between self-expression and self-preservation. Where do you recognize these patterns in your own life? And how might we all learn to walk the fine line between presenting our best selves to the world and staying true to who we are inside? The duality between public persona and private reality is a dance of shadows and light, and Heart's journey encapsulates this tension. Ann Wilson's Enneagram Type 4 tendencies, with her intense focus on authenticity and depth, clashed at times with Nancy's Type 3 drive for achievement and adaptability. Ann's core desire for originality often steered the band toward uncharted waters, seeking new ways to express the inexpressible, while Nancy's pragmatic approach sought to shape those explorations into something that could resonate with a wider audience. This friction, while a source of creativity, also led to moments of discord. Their relationship, both as sisters and bandmates, often mirrored the archetypal dance between the hero and the shapeshifter. Anne, as the hero, would venture into the emotional wilderness, her instincts driving her to explore the raw and the real. Meanwhile, Nancy's shapeshifter role allowed her to adapt and transform the music into something palatable, a bridge between Anne's inner world and the audience's expectations. This dynamic is reminiscent of the classic hero's journey, where the hero must confront the unknown, and the shapeshifter helps navigate the labyrinth of public perception. Yet, as with all archetypal journeys, the shadow lurked, manifesting as the fear of losing one's identity within the collective success. For Anne, the shadow was the fear of being inauthentic, of compromising her artistic vision for commercial gain. For Nancy, it was the fear of inadequacy, of failing to meet the high standards set both by herself and the industry. These shadows could lead to moments of conflict, where the pressure of external success clashed with internal values. In their music, Hart managed to articulate these complex emotions, crafting songs that resonated with an honesty that could cut through the veneer of rock and roll glamour. Tracks like Crazy on You and Barracuda were not just anthems of empowerment. They were declarations of independence from the constraints imposed by others. Yet the creation of such music required diving into their depths, confronting those shadows, and emerging with something transformative. This interplay of light and shadow within the band often mirrored the ecosystem in which they operated. The music industry, with its seductive allure and unforgiving nature, acted as both a mentor and a trickster. It offered opportunities for growth and fame. Yet every album release, every tour, came with its own set of challenges. The industry could uplift them, but it could also serve as a harsh critic, demanding constant reinvention and relevance. The pressure to remain relevant often led to internal struggles. Anne's introspective nature sometimes clashed with the band's need to commercialize their sound, while Nancy's adaptability was tested by the need to innovate continually. This tension was not only personal, but emblematic of the larger battle artists face in keeping their true voice amidst the clamor for conformity. For Hart, the path to shadow integration lay in embracing their differences, recognizing that their individual strengths, when combined, created something greater than the sum of their parts. Anne's emotional depth provided the soul of the music, while Nancy's strategic vision gave it wings. Their journey is a testament to the power of collaboration, of how embracing rather than stifling conflict can lead to greater harmony. The story of Hart echoes the broader human experience, the struggle to integrate our fragmented selves into a cohesive whole. We all wear masks, often without realizing it, shaped by our fears and desires, by the roles we feel we must play. Hart's legacy invites us to ask, what parts of ourselves are we neglecting? How can we bring our shadows into the light, using them not as sources of shame, but as powerful allies on our journey toward authenticity? As we reflect on these questions, Hart's music serves as a reminder of the beauty that emerges when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to embrace our imperfections and contradictions. Their story encourages us to see our struggles not as barriers, but as the very canvas on which to paint the masterpiece of our